So he gave us this, and then Nick did this Colditz thing, which was kind of scary. Because he went to the co-op, and the co-op agreed to fund this. The co-op gave him 10 grand. So he puts this fence round, which is because we've got deer and we've got rabbits around the place, and because Nick hasn't got an eye for attractiveness. So we've done this, but that's part of the joy of working in the community, because you just get what you get, you know, and the heart's good if the eye's not quite there. And now what he's doing is he's divided that off, and this is going to be our market garden training area. He's got a polytunnel from Riggs Garden Centre that he's putting up. He's putting them up with volunteers from the community, plus some of the Future Jobs Fund people. We're starting to talk to the school because of what we've been doing. The school managed to hook the BTEC diploma in Environment and Land Studies. Nobody was doing it in our part of the world. It's not that part of the world. So we said, we really think you ought to back Incredible Edible by putting it at our high school, which they did. And they got an allocation per head to actually teach some kids about growing and about soil and so on and so forth. So the deal now is, instead of them going out of the area spending that money, they're spending it in the town where their kids live. And that we're going to find a virtuous circle around the money that the school's got, and the produce we'll sell on this land, and the training and apprenticeship opportunities that we want to bring forward, because training and apprenticeships are key. It's murder trying to work with Lantra. We've really tried hard. We've learned a lot of how not to do it when you're trying to put training in place, but we've got some fabulous training opportunities now. You know, we're teaching people free of charge how to graft, how to skin rabbits, how to plant, how to pickle, how to bottle, how to do 1,001 things, because we've got skills in that community and they're sharing with each other. So the informal skills network is underpinning the business network, as well as inspiring the community to do things differently in their front and back gardens. And we've also got some land here, because what happens is if you're brave and bold enough, basically, as Nick indeed is, and this is Nick Bank, people come up to you and say, you know, I live up on the top, I've just bought a farmstead there, but, you know, I'm commuting, I'm never going to do it. Would you like a little bit of land to grow on? Now, this isn't easy land to grow on, but basically, we've been growing potatoes on this land for the last 12 months, and we can now supply considerable numbers of schools with spuds from the vegetables that are grown on that land, which was given to us free of charge. And that is Nick doing his Nick type things. So, and fundamentally, this is an exercise in inspiring people to play to their strengths by using that common language of food to say, let's be positive, let's not get weighed down with all the negativity in the world, and let's see if collectively we can create momentum that will make people think outside the box. And one of the last contributions we've made to the economy is vegetable tourism. I mean, you know, we've got about 12 town centre beds, maybe we've got 10. Where we've got things growing. You know, we've got in front of the police station, we've got opposite the park, we've got herbs and fruit growing. We took over the college beds where we didn't exactly enamour ourselves to the In Bloom group, because we took up all the roses and we planted vegetables. So we were really not their favourite colour at all. So what we do now is we mix and match. So we're all happy. But we've got lots of, every single week we're taking people round in the height of summer. We've had visitors from Spain, we've had Japanese visitors, we've had people from the States, we'll be showing people around from Australia. Now, it's not that. It's not that people have never seen these things growing. It's that sense of a community saying we're going to do it differently, we don't give a stuff what other people think. And it's about having something to point at. And the number of people that say, well, we could do that, why don't we do that? Well, and it's just how movements start, and it's fabulous. So how could we think about building on that tourism agenda, all done through a community push? So we've just come up with the idea of Tottenham's Incredible Edible Green Route. Because Tottenham basically is a town in two halves. If you ignore the outside of it, it's a town defined by its railway line, its canal and its river. But right through the middle of that town is a grey road. And you tend to do things on this side, or you tend to do things on this side, but you don't do things on both sides. So what could we actually do to make the town look better, to make the town work better, and to bring more visitors to the town? So we just invented the Incredible Green Route. And this is going to be an aspirational route that we like to think is going to be the Eden of the North. Because we've got people like Gordon Organics behind it, HRH came last year to support what we were doing. We've got a lot of national players who've said very, very helpful things and very supportive things. So what we're having is a green route that is edible canal corridor, the British Waterways are very happy with that goes through the health centre grounds where we've got the apothecary's garden that you've seen, that go past a lot of gable ends where we're working with biotexture to really practice on vertical edible growing, which is quite tricky, but we're going to start to pilot that along with York. And basically, take over some more town centre sites and do some exemplar gardens. We're going to have a tea garden, a soap garden, and a first aid garden, growing the types of food and plants that you can put into those. We're going to have rain fountains that capture the rainwater and through watercress cleanse it so you can drink it at the bottom. We're going to have open air theatre where we can actually engage people in discussion around food. We're going to do all sorts of things, which is exciting. And the great thing about this project is you can do parts of it without lots of money. Some of it you do need some money for, but it has brought together every single sector of the town that used to, because there are right stroppy lot in Tomanon. There are times that whole sections of the community won't talk to other whole sections of the community. So basically I did a public meeting on this, and I had the Town Council and the In Bloom group and the Renaissance group and the market traders all going, yeah, that's fantastic. It's never happened before. So I'm so pleased about that, and we're well on the way to making that happen, and we started it about a month ago. So, I'm at the end. So how could this happen everywhere? This is just a little bit of the jigsaw. That's all this is. But it creates a momentum and a buzz and a level of engagement that in my 20 years in the public sector, I've never seen. So how could it happen anywhere? Well, I know that's a double negative. If there's any teachers in the room, I just happen to like it. So we don't start with nothing. If you actually start looking at what you've got, as you have in Bath, we've got public and private land, we've got verges, market halls, we've got pots of land that we can grow on. We've just relaunched our licence with the Town Council, and the Town Council are going to expand on that. And basically the Town Council, for some reason, likes to hoard bits of land that end up being, places that dogs go to, or you've got cans on or whatever. If you give those to the people who have to live around it, and they grow on it, raised beds, membranes under, whatever it takes, the place looks fantastic. It has a much better buzz. And the council doesn't have to feel guilty about not maintaining it anymore. It's not really. It's not really difficult. So you take a slightly crazy community like that, and these are some of the people that are at our Harvest Festival, because once a year we bring together the produce in this fabulous Unitarian church. It's not a church anymore, it's a community centre. And we cook it up for everybody. Again, sharing, kindness, having a laugh, playing, talking to each other across cultures and across income streams. And we had a different approach to regeneration. So why can't we do that? Why can't we build schools to have a living edible world with our heart? Why can't we make sure that as a part of the guidance notes for building health centres, you have to put edibles in there? Why can't we create food land banks? Why is it on a spatial plan we have to have amenity land recognised, but we don't have food land banks recognised? What's that about? I mean, it's fine, I love kicking a football around and all the rest of it, but actually, let's think a bit creatively about how we can make sure we've got community food land banks for the future. Because when you can't fly the stuff all over the place, you're going to be really cheesed off if you've built it up, aren't you? And why can't we encourage all social landlords to allocate space for growing? And they really want to do it. Our social landlords are a fabulous group of people. And they said to us, we've had a look at this old chicken malarkey, and although everybody says you can't keep chickens if you happen to be a council tenant, that's a load of twaddle. Because their view is allotment law trumps tenants law, so they can. So that's all there is to it, so they all keep chickens. Everybody can do that. It's not difficult, it's just the will to do it. And that's why we're doing it. This is Sid. This is Nairish grandchild. And at the end of the day, by the time he's grown up, he will just have a different view about food and the environment and the soil and what he does to that soil than he would have done if we hadn't bothered. That's it.